All right, everybody. Just want to make sure that everybody can hear me okay. All right, Steph says loud and clear. All right, well, that's good. Well, welcome to GWUP. This is the guitar warm-up program. This is the 31st one that I've done. And so I've got a number of things planned for today. So some of them are going to be harder than others, but stick with me and see if you can stay to the end and get all this stuff in. So we're going to start off with a standard sort of warm-up exercise that I had come up with. I like to incorporate things that have all four fingers in them, and sometimes they're not musical, but for the most part, I like them to sound good. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to do something that's a little simple, but it also sounds good. So we got that, and then we're going to do some chord practice, some chord things dealing with dominant chords that will be a nice little warm-up technique builder. So, and maybe add a whole bunch of different voicings to your chord vocabulary, which would be great. So we always want to learn something, and so it's not just about, oh, I just need to move my fingers and that's fine. That's good, and we need to warm up. But if we can warm up with something that's actually going to like give us some better dexterity, better things, and even it just improve our guitar playing overall, then that's really what we want to do. Okay, so in the chat, if you see the top thing that I sort of pinned that to the top of the chat in YouTube. If you're on Facebook, I would recommend you bounce over to the YouTube. And if you can find that on my YouTube channel, which is acousticwisdom.com, and you can jump on the stream there, and that will give you the ability to jump in the chat. I'm not seeing Facebook chat from here. And I also have the download link for all of the music that we're going to cover here today. So if you go into YouTube, you'll find that there, and print it out. If you don't have it printed out, then it might be nice to have at least some screen, maybe on a phone or a tablet or something like that, that you can follow along. All right, so this first one is a little bit of, it's sort of chromatic, and it's well, it is chromatic, but it also has the major scale into it. So let me go over here, and I'm going to pull this up on the screen so that you can at least see the shape of what's going on here. So if you see this, all these little dots in this little diagram, if you don't know what this is, if you've never seen this before, this is a scale diagram, also used for chords, and they'll call it a chord diagram. But if you look, and just to kind of teach this to you first, I'm going to start here in second position. Well, yeah, I'll do second position, and then we're going to start up high and then work our way down. All right. So you see where the sort of reddish dot there is, that has the R. That means that's the root. Okay. So let's say. So I'm going to be in second position for this, just to show this to you. So I'm going to start with my second finger, and that's going to be the root. That's going to be the red dot, and so if I think about filling in all of the dots just like it is on the picture up here, I would start first finger, second, third, fourth, and then jump to the first string and do 1, 2, 3, 4 from there. So I'm getting all of those, connecting all those dots in there. All right. And so the easiest way that I can show this to you, and I think that if I teach this to you this way, you probably won't even need to look at the tab for this. You'll just remember. So if you just remember that we're connecting all of these dots, and then the pattern is I'm going to start with the root, okay? And then it's going to play a lower neighbor to that, and that is playing the note, and a chromatic lower neighbor. So I'm going to get the note that's a half step below that, and then come back up to the note. So I'll play the root, play the lower neighbor, and come back to the root. Okay, so it's going to go. right? And when I do that, notice what's happening here with my index finger. I'm not going, I'm not doing that. This stays down, right? So I'm going like this. Right, that's the easiest, most economical motion-wise. Okay, so I keep this down. Now I'm going to do that same lower neighbor idea, but I'm going to do a chromatic note. So I'm going to go here, lower neighbor. The next note is a chromatic note that just walks me up to where the pinky is, and I do the lower neighbor idea here. Okay, so there's two of those little lower neighbor guys with one chromatic thing in the middle. Here's the chromatic. Here's the lower neighbor idea. Okay, so if I put that all together, I'm going to go. Okay, and hopefully you have your guitar with you and you can sort of try to play that along with me. We are going to do it together, but see if you can get that under your fingers first before we actually start the exercise. Okay, now to get to the next one, the next note is going to be here. That's going to walk us into the next lower neighbor idea. So I'm going to go, and then to this string. All right. So how that works together is like this. Okay, so I have to switch. I don't have a note that's in between. I'd have to keep going up the same string, so I have to switch to the next string set, or the next string. There's the passing tone. There's the lower neighbor idea. Here's the next passing tone, and then we get up to the pinky. All right, so there's always a passing tone in between each of the three lower neighbor things that we've done here. So we start with the root, lower neighbor, passing, lower neighbor, passing note, lower neighbor idea, passing note, to the top note. Okay, so all together we're going to go 3, 4. Okay. Hopefully you, I mean, we're going to play this slowly, but hopefully you get the idea enough that we can play it at least really slow together. And then once we get to the top, we're going to walk right down the major scale like this. So, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay. Now those fingerings are on the tablature that I sent to you, the sheet music, and but the fingering wise, I'm going 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2. Okay. So all together. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, please put that in the chat. I can pretty much see that in sort of real time. I know that there's a delay on YouTube, but I'll see that chat pop up here on YouTube. Again, sorry, Facebookers, but that's what we got for now anyway. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start this off, and we're going to start the root here on the 12th fret, and that's where your double dots are, right? You got your 2 dots. Now, if you have a classical guitar, this is where, like right here at the 12th fret, is where your body meets. So you might have to like get your fingers in there a little bit more. I have a little bit of extra room because this is a 14 fret acoustic guitar, but you should be able to get that. I mean, if you like, if I were on the neck, I have to bring my thumb up. And it gets a little cramped, but that's how we do it. So unless you have a cutaway, that's what you have to deal with. Okay, so I'm going to play my handy-dandy little drum backing track here for you guys, and hopefully this is set up loud enough. And I go, maybe I'll turn that up just a little bit more. Okay, so we'll start here, we'll play each one, and then we'll shift down a fret, play it again. Shift it down a fret, and we're going to play all the way down until we get to the first position here, the first fret, first finger, first fret. Okay, you play along with me? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and go, and... Two, and shift down, go, and... Two, shift down, and go, and... Shift and go. Two, shift down and go, and I'm picking this down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. But you can do all downs if you want. Try this. Shift and down, down, down. Two, if you're playing with your fingers, you could play with your thumb and just do this. Whatever feels good for you. And shift and go, and... Two, shift and go, and... And shift and go, and... Okay, last one, the biggest one. Shift and go, and... Okay, so how was that for everybody? Hopefully that was okay. You it may have pushed you a little bit. I try not to do it too slowly, not too fast, but you know, you'll have this video that you can go back to, or you just use the sheet music and go as slow as you need to make every note, make the tone sound good, so that you don't have that kind of stuff. You know, I'm sure we all heard that before. Yeah, the next one. All right, the next one. Hey, Lori. Hey, Dave. Hey, Sheldon. I see all of you down there in the chat. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to start with some chords here, dominant chords. And I'm going to show you this in sort of an order. And if we take a look at this A7, I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger if I can. Can I? Can I? Maybe not. Maybe not. Anyway, I think that's fine. So what this is this. And then what I want you to do to start with this is I want you to play each note as if you were a trumpet player. If you think about a trumpet player, they can't play two notes at the same time. They play one note at a time. And so when I play this, I'm not thinking about doing it like this, one note at a time, because that's actually allowing them to ring together. I want them to be disconnected, or I want you to delineate the notes. So I'm going to play like this. Okay. To me, it's really, really a good thing to be able to see the shape and how those notes look on the fretboard. And sometimes when, if I just have my hand like this, if you didn't know that chord, you probably wouldn't even know what notes I'm holding down. Even if I played it, you probably wouldn't be able to even hear what it was supposed to be, right? And then when you put your hands on something, sometimes it's difficult to even recognize all of that, like sort of connecting the dots. So if you just play one note at a time, and even I'm not going to do this today, but if you do this after the fact, try to play each note with one finger. Okay, then you get like a whole different perspective on it, right? It's not just about fingering. It's like, how do those notes happen on the fretboard, and how do I use my fingers to press them down? Because I might play that differently. I might, instead of this, I might use my pinky here, I could do that. There's a lot of different ways that you could do it depending on what the song asked for, and I don't want to be limited to a single fingering for something. I mean, it's one of the things like, oh, well, I thought G was played like this. Like, well, yeah, you can play G like this too. Well, I didn't learn it that way. Or, yeah, you can play G like this too. Well, that's not the way I learned it, Like, get out of that mindset of this is G and this is C and this is, like my fingers are this way. So I want you to look at it from that perspective. Like, it's just, they're just notes. How do you play the notes is a different thing. So I'm going to play. Again, you can follow the same fingering that I'm using here. If you see the diagram here, I'm sort of trying to point to it. You see that number 5. That just tells you that bottom note is played on the 5th fret. Okay, and the bottom line in that diagram is the 6th string, and the top line of that diagram is your high E string, and the lines going vertically are your frets, just like if you were looking at my fretboard here. Okay, so that's A7. That's the first one. Now we'll look at the next one, and this is an A9 / C sharp, or A9 over C sharp, and it's a 9 chord, an A9 chord, but it's in first inversion. Okay, you don't need to memorize all of that stuff, but you see how it looks. So if I play this individual note wise, play that. And get used to that. How does that look? Okay, if I play that all together, it's one of my favorite voicings. I love that. All right, it's a whole lot of other things, but we're not going to get into that now. But if you think about it as A7, A9 over C sharp, it's great. And so if a song has an A7 chord in it, every chord that I show you today is going to work over that. It's in that same family, right? Just a different way of voicing those chords. Okay, so here's the next one, and so now the lowest note is going to be on our 6th fret. You see that right there. So the number 6, and so I'm going to play. Okay, and the way that I do it is I roll my finger. So I do this little hyperextension with my knuckle there. Okay, you might want to try that. It might be hard at first if you're not used to doing that. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one now. So now we have this A7 over G. Now there I played them with all different fingers. Maybe I'd do this. And there I rolled. Okay, so that's the next one. And these all sort of climb up in a sort of a scale way. So now here we're on the 7th fret, index finger, so I'm going to play. Okay, again, don't try to let these ring together, just play them separately. Next one, A7 sus4. This is almost the same as the last one we did, but we have a higher note here with the pinky. All right. A9 over C sharp. So here, I'm up to the 11th fret, and I'm rolling that finger for that one. And you could play them all different fingers. You could play them with one finger, however you wanted to do that. Let me slide up here a little bit. All right, and one more is going to be A7 over E. So now my index finger is on the 12th fret. Okay, now if I want to finish this off, and we're going to do that, this last note here is on the 15th fret. I'm just going to go up 2 frets and then end it with an A note to try to give a little bit of a final sound. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my trusty sheet music here just to make sure that I'm doing what I want to do. All right, so the exercises, we're going to play each of those twice. So I'm going to play 1, 2, 3, 4. Play it again. 2, 3, and then I switch to the next one. Okay, so this would be good for if you have the sheet music in front of you. If you know these chords, or you can try to follow. If you don't have it printed out, then try to follow along with me, and we'll do the old 50 beats per minute here for the drum track. Okay, 2, 2. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go with me. Next one. Seventh fret. And here's the sus4. One more. And on the 17th fret. Okay. All right, so if you have any problem with that, you want me to go over anything, let me know in the chat there. Now we're going to run through that same pattern, but I want to take that as just chords, right? So what we'll do is we'll play all 4 of those notes together. And you'll notice that each one of these, I'm only playing 4 strings. So one of the things that you want to be able to be aware of and careful of when you play, that when you strum that, you only get 4. You don't get this like, right? That's still A7, but that's not what I want here. I want that the third of that chord to be on top, and the soprano. And then I'll go to the next one, to this one. Now this one here, you can play, let me zoom in again. You can play 4 fingers, like that. Or like I did a double stop in that one, where I'm actually sort of, I'm holding down those strings sort of in the middle. If you're not used to doing that, you might not be like, how do you do that? But it sure makes things like this really easy. So practicing double stops where you know, just one finger, and it's not like a bar. I'm really just kind of like fretting the note, or fretting the notes in between the strings in order to get 2, right? And that actually will leave the 3rd finger open to do other things too if I wanted. Okay, then the next one is here. Then the pinky goes up. Then, and then, okay. So let's play that. And if you don't know those chords, this might be really tough, but I'm going to go slow enough and just try to do this as best you can. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 beats each. Okay, let's try it again. 2, ready, go. 2. Now you can take that down if you want. All right, so you can alter that any way that you want to, and I think that I really like putting all of those different dominant chords together in that way, because it sounds like a scale, because you can kind of hear that going up the scale sort of, and we're going to make this even more scalar just here in a second. But it gives you what are there? I think there's 8 different chords there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so we've got 8 different A7 chords, and you probably know this, hopefully, or you know this, right? Or you play it that way. You've done all of those, and so you might want to try incorporating some of these. How do they sound in a song that you've already played? So taking them in other keys is good too. How do I play that in I don't know, the key of E? Where are those chords in the key of E? Well, there's that shape. You know, all these different there are a ton of them. I'm trying not to play anything that I haven't shown you in here. Yeah, so let's go to the next thing. So playing the same chords, and I'm going to be connecting them. So we have a little bit of a tone added to the chords. So check this out. So play this with me. I'm going to play the A7. And then because we have the pinky free here, I'm going to bring this down and play just that note, which is the 4th. So that'll give us an A7 sus4. Right? But it's like a passing tone. It's part of a scale thing. And if you played this chord, you can use that any way that you wanted to. That kind of deal. So we're playing here, and then here, and then we go to the next shape, all right? And the next note is here. And that's a bit of a stretch. You can see it on my hand. That's a bit of a stretch. So rather than fretting it this way, I'm going to do it this way. So I'm actually barring these two notes here. And then I can get the pinky. It's still tough, but you know, if you don't do things like this, it can make other things difficult. I mean, these help to like stretch your hands out and get you used to like doing some big stretches. If you feel pain, stop doing it. If it's just a little bit of a stretch, you're okay. So that's the deal on that one. Then on this one, I played. Or sorry, we're playing this guy here, and then a passing tone, up one. And you don't have to hold the chord for this. You could just go, pinky goes up here to there, and you can hear how that resolves. And then here, we've got adding the 9. And then we go to the next one. To here. There's the little add 11. And then we come up here. And then we add the pinky. And then the last one. And then we can end on the high note, right? So now if you listen to this as I play it up the fretboard, you hear that scale. Okay, so let's try that together. I'll count it here. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, start back at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I need to slide. Let's try it one more time. 1, 2, last time, let's go, and okay, so I know that that's really challenging for a lot of people, and if you only get the if you only get that much out of this, that's great. It gives you other things to work up towards, and I love dominant chords, and because there's so much you can do with them, so many iterations of adding a 9 or a 13, which we didn't do at all. Actually, not true. You could go, when I added that top note, you could call that an A13. But anyway, so yeah, again, if you have any questions, let me know. You've got the sheet music there. I also posted, if you enjoy this GWUP thing and you want to send a little donation for this, I've got the link there that takes you to a little tip jar thing on my website. And this video will be up on YouTube, and you'll be able to rewatch it there. If you are interested in lessons, if you don't take lessons from me and you're on, I do lessons on Zoom. And you can contact me, Kevin Neidig, at kevinneidig.com. And let's see. Also, if you're interested in checking out my Riff Monkey course, it's a whole bunch of licks that are sort of like this. They're meant to be technique boosters, really, and kind of get you an idea of playing and creating melodic lines and things that are not just playing in scales like that kind of thing. That they actually have some sort of melodic content, different styles of things, and that's on my Sound Slice page, and you can find that Sound Slice page on my website, or you could probably just do an internet or a Google search for Kevin Neidig Sound Slice, and it should bring up all of the stuff that I have available on there. And yeah, so Lori says it's not working properly. I'll check that out. I'll check that out as soon as we go offline. The chat will stay up, and I'll check that out and see what's going on, and then I'll write in the chat about fixing that. Not sure why, but okay. Thank you very much, everybody. This is second Monday of each month, so I think if I look here, the next GWUP class is going to be April 14th, and again it'll be 7 o'clock. And yeah, if you have any questions about this after the class, then you can always send me a message, and find me on Facebook. Again, go on my website, send me an email through there. And yeah, thanks for sticking around, and thanks for hanging out, and I shall see you all next time, or rather you would see me next time. All right, have a good night.